Hi, my name is Rehan. I'm running Super Technologies. Cloud computing is a new term, as everybody here knows, and it's the new name for the internet, I guess. The telcos, where the way things are moving, as most of us understand that the telco's job eventually will no longer be a telco. It'll be more of a data service provider. And as more and more bandwidth occurs in the cloud, be it wireless or wired, the telco's job would be to provide more and more bandwidth to all of us. So the dominant players which we are seeing in the voice business comes out to be something like Skype and Google Talk, and in the US, Google Voice and Vonage and other players in the world. In India, I believe Tata has a good space in the voice business, but others might be there. I'm not really learned about that. The topic which has been given to me is how to run a telco in the cloud. So as we all are converging towards a new economy, towards a new type of business, and more businesses are becoming internet friendly, we have to change the thinking paradigm. And the way we think as of today of doing business is within our boundaries. And Skype has been thinking in a different way. That's why we now see that Skype has a couple of 100 million users around the world, and it's doing most international traffic when it comes to voice. So what is stopping us from thinking global? I think it's basically us ourselves. We just don't want to think global enough, and whenever we think global, we still think local, and we have to really start thinking global. And because the advantage of the cloud is that it's global. Now you can run a telco on somebody else's network. You can have a service from India coming in and dominating the world, and the service provider could be from India, and he could be giving service in Uganda, in the US, in the UK, taking advantage of all the awesome things in India with really low-cost customer service, the know-how of customer service, the cost effectiveness of that price. We can compete anytime with any telcos in the world, be it Skype, be it Vonage, be it anyone. And that's the biggest advantage of running a telco in the cloud. However, unless we start thinking global, we won't get there. The most beautiful part of running a telco in the cloud, we're using bandwidth in the US, we're using bandwidth in the UK and Europe. We don't even have to have a license to operate the service in those countries, which cost a lot of money. The 3G license in Saudi was sold for $4 billion. So if that kind of money is just spent on licensing and not really on the business part itself, think of what you can do if you were to spend that kind of money in actually the business development part of it. So even though Skype is 400-500 million users, even then it was sold for just $4 billion. So whereas one license of a 3G was sold for $4 billion. So what is actually the price of Skype? It should be much more. As time goes by, the importance of running a global telco would be more and more. And the customer, as I said, could be anywhere on the planet, just like for Skype. And the company could be again anywhere on the planet, just like for Skype. It's a Luxembourg-based company having equity from a Canadian fund, having the headquarters of customer service and support in Estonia. I mean, that's how the global company works. You can function in a different way, and you have to do that because now you're operating in a global economy. You have to start gather the knowledge of running a global operation. And I'm sure most of you already have that, and most of you are maybe geared towards that also, but still we have a very few global players in the world, which means that there's a huge potential out there, and you can be the next cloud super telco. The types of services that can exist, types of telco that can exist in the cloud could be Skype type service, could be IP-PBX service, IP-centric service, could be traditional telco PSTN service, anything which exists in the traditional world could actually exist in the cloud-based service also. Then we see something like TruePhone, which is out there, and that's trying to be a cloud-based telco on the mobile. And then it uses everything like mobile and just uses the data service of whichever telco it's running on. So there are different flavors available for the cloud-based telco to exist, and it's a very, very interesting model, because now the market is no longer a billion in India or a billion in China, but it's actually 6.5 billion in the world. Majority of the people who have broadband access in the world, at least in the developing world and the developed world, would be able to use these cloud-based services as a telco. And as we all know, as the broadband becomes more and more on the mobile, we have more chances to exist, more and more strong presence on the cloud-based telco services. Our company, Super Technologies, has been delivering cloud-based services for the last around 10 years. And we have services which enable the cloud-based telco to exist. The DID Exchange is a SIP trunking service provider for the globe, which allows the telcos to embrace the cloud-based technology and offer numbers from around the world to the network. It makes you global telco instantaneously. It also allows you to sell your number series to the world. If you don't want to become a Skype tomorrow, you can start by selling your numbers, no matter where they are from in the world, on the DIDX market, and then it will be available for sale for the telcos around the world to come and buy, and you are now exporting phone numbers. You're making foreign exchange from selling phone numbers, that's it. I mean, simple phone numbers. You can make money from that. So that's something very interesting which is available. We also offer white label solutions for IP-centric services, PC to phone services, Varnish type services, called forwarding services. So we enable the telco, the traditional telco, to become a cloud-based telco or an internet-based telco very, very quickly, and we have a few dozen telcos who are actually using us, and the total number of users are in millions, which are already using us. We rely totally on the cloud-based services and use the internet as the backbone for the telco providers. Benefits of cloud-based telco. The biggest benefit, as I told earlier, was that you can go global. You can have a telco anywhere on the planet. You can run it from India, you can run it from wherever you want. The cost of doing business becomes extremely low, because now you have a scattered around telco which is running on other people's resources, which is their fiber, their airwaves. You're using other people's licenses on data, and you're providing them service. Flexibility of your telco becomes very big, because now again you're a global telco. You can specialize in a particular segment. You can develop and you can deploy very quickly any service. Any software updates can be deployed very quickly. Auto updates can be done. For example, say you start a iPhone-based telco using the broadband on iPhone. The iPhone store will automatically update your applications. Imagine updating every single handset would be so complicated, but now it's just simply updating the software on the phone, and it simply expands and goes global very quickly. Google, which is now backing the cloud-based resources. For example, I was hearing Eric Schmidt a few days ago. He gave an interview on charlierose.com, and where he was very supportive of web-based applications. So cloud-based telco running on a browser would become also even more bigger. Facebook-based telco, again these are all cloud-based telecoms services, cloud-based services, telco services. We have another product which actually can make phone call within Facebook. You can make Facebook app calls within Facebook, user to user. Then you can have somebody who click on the call me button, it comes to your mobile phone. That's available. You can make normal phone calls from Facebook to any number. That's available. So these are a few of my thoughts. I hope you liked them, and if you would like to discuss any further, I'm available over here and we can discuss more. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on LinkedIn, and I would love to discuss more and learn more from you if you have any ideas on how we can all make collectively this world a better place to live in. Thank you.